All right, welcome back to the channel. So Deontay Wilder lets out some more video of his training, and I think shows what his new strategy will be for the Tyson Fury rematch, and also verifies that he has a new trainer in Malik Scott. Let's talk about what that means for the upcoming, I believe, upcoming trilogy fight between Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. So in this video, once again, we are going to talk about the heavyweight division. And the reason we're going to talk about the heavyweight division is because it is the most important division in boxing. It is, if you actually examine the weight classes, the only weight class that's really not a weight class. It's somebody where the biggest guy, if you want to fight in the welterweight, in the heavyweight division, you can fight in the heavyweight division, and you do not need to lose weight. You can get in there if you want it. Pretty much, it's a free-for-all type of weight where there is no weight limit, and in any weight class there is no weight limit, so the weight minimum. So you get the point. It really is the guy that is the champion in the sport of boxing, because it is assumed, and honestly, you know, pretty much is anything but proven fact, that the heavyweight champion, the true heavyweight champion in the world, really is the champion in boxing. So with that understood, that is why I say that, and I continually talk so much about the Deontay Wilder Tyson Fury saga, because at this point in time, it's a saga. It went from, you know, trying to get Anthony Joshua in the ring with Deontay Wilder with a bunch of, you know, nonsense going on, preventing that fight from happening, to what seemed like a really good thing between Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury. But then Tyson Fury, with his cheating ways, you know, just really poured water on the whole thing. And pretty much, you know, the result of those things, the relationship between Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury, relationship, you know, vis-a-vis them making a fight, and the same thing with Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder, has just made an absolute complete mess of the heavyweight division. And, you know, the absolute pinnacle of it is the cheating that Tyson Fury did against Deontay Wilder in the first fight. Now, that is why it's so important to have the discussion. And just the other day, and I think this is maybe the second or the third time that Deontay Wilder has done it recently, which is he actually released footage of himself training and preparing for his next fight. That fight, I am sure, 100% sure he believes 100% will be the fight against Tyson Fury, because that's just only right. I won't go through all of the details in it in this particular video. I've talked about it plenty of other times, but it is just absolutely what's right and should happen. So he posts these videos, and he is talking about, you know, or shows, you know, his training. And I got to tell you, man, I like what I saw with him in training. I like it a lot. I liked it a lot more than any other pad work or the other stuff that I've seen with Deontay Wilder and Mark Breland, or Deontay Wilder and JD's. It seemed like there was a very, very good rapport between the two. And it also seemed as if they were working on things that I think Deontay Wilder really did need to work on, or some things that people, you know, said he needed to work on. A couple of the things that I really saw is he was working very much on his defense. He was working on head movements, slipping the jab, slipping the, you know, the hook behind the jab. What is it? The right and then the left hook, right? Slipping the right, coming up underneath their jab, countering in between when the guy's throwing shots, right? Doing something that is more active, right, than what Deontay Wilder, you know, has been doing for a while, which is, you know, taking the safe route and biding his time and really looking and setting up that right hand, which, by the way, he does absolutely masterfully, setting up the right hand. And it's something that is very, very, very underrated about Deontay Wilder and his skill as a fighter. I believe that Deontay Wilder is one of the greatest heavyweights of this century. However, you know, when there's so much press and negative press put on him for every, you know, perceivable weakness that he has, right? And on the other side of it, you get this massive amount of promoter, I would say, of promotion that benefits the promoters, and the source of the promotion is the promoters, right? That elevate these guys in the media to be things that they aren't actually. Deontay Wilder is just, man, the dude is a terrific fighter, but like in most things, you can make adjustments. And there will be, if you fight in one style, people will make an adjustment to it. And Tyson Fury definitely made an adjustment to it, which was called just blatant, flat out cheating and turning a boxing match into an illegal wrestling match. But he did it, and you're going to have to figure out, hey, man, how do you get around things like that? And what I saw him doing in when he was working with Malik Scott was he was definitely, like I said, he looked like he was working on his defense. He looked like he was working on his foot movement, specifically cutting off the ring. When a guy, steps out to the side, stepping with him and staying right in the middle of the guy and keeping a lot of pressure on him up against the ropes, right? And not letting the guy slip out and all kind of different improvements. And there are a bunch of improvements clearly that Deontay Wilder can make. There's a lot of, and so, for example, when you hear, the criticism of an Andre Ward, or you hear criticisms of, other fighters that are really, really terrific technical fighters, I don't doubt at all that they see things in Deontay Wilder that they think that they can improve on with Deontay Wilder. So getting a new coach, I love it. And as far as what Malik Scott brings to the table, Malik Scott has been in the ring with Deontay Wilder. He knows the strengths and the weaknesses of Deontay Wilder, and he's a heavyweight. So he knows what it's like to be in there with really big guys and the difference between, fighting as a guy that may be a 147 pounder, and had his career as a 147 pounder versus a guy that is 6'6", 260 pounds and is used to fighting guys that will knock you out, right? With any shot, right? So the fact that he has a heavyweight training him, a heavyweight that knows him, I think it's a good look for him. And you very well might find that you have a terrific trainer in Malik Scott. Some of the best trainers in boxing were guys that were that either were journeymen or guys that fought for championships that really didn't make it. Now I do like a lot of examples of that, right? So I like it. Now, as far as like making changes that Deontay Wilder, the changes Deontay Wilder can make and whether those things will be successful, you can point to a lot of examples in boxing where that's taken place. Arturo Gatti, when he was warring with Mickey Ward, he was fighting, a more of a take one to give one type of war, and he became very famous, and very appreciated in Atlantic City specifically for that style of fighting. But as he got older and he was like, nah, I don't want to war as much, he turned into more of a boxer, and he was able to win fights without taking nearly the punishment that he was doing before. It was a style change that worked for Arturo Gatti up until he ran into, somebody, there ain't no style you can make up for, right? Which is Floyd Mayweather Jr. Ain't no way Arturo Gatti is going to win that fight. Other good examples of people that have made these same type of changes have been guys like Vladimir Klitschko in the heavyweight division. Vladimir Klitschko, has this very long reign that people talk about, and that is very true. And they say that he's one of the best heavyweights of the century and all that good old stuff. But they also, don't overlook the fact that he got knocked out by Corey Sanders and that he got knocked out by Layman Brewster. And, hey, man, he made changes to his style. More of the grabbing, the punch past you, jump on your back type of style. But, hey, man, he made adjustments which made him a more successful fighter. And I don't think that there's any reason to believe that somebody with the experience, the skill, the athleticism, the talent of Deontay Wilder can't do the same thing, man. Fundamentals are fundamentals, right? They're there because they work for everybody. So his exceptional talent added with some fundamentals and, designed to beat the people that he's looking to beat could be a miraculous thing for him. And that's what I'm expecting. Anyway, that's my take on the matter. You let me know what you think. And with that, I'm out. Peace.